YouTube, what's up? Back again for another fishing video here on Andrew Upshaw Fishing. This is the inaugural fishing tip video here for the daily tip series. So I hope y'all really like this video series. It's going to be a daily thing. Every single day at noon, I'm going to post a new video. It's not going to be long. It's not going to be crazy. It's just going to be really direct fishing tips to help you catch more fish when you're on the water. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, what are you waiting for? We're going to be dropping all kinds of content, whether it's Warzone, bass fishing, tips, tournaments, anything and everything. If y'all have some ideas, why don't y'all drop them in the comments below? So if y'all have a fishing tip that y'all would like to see, get in that comment section and drop it. Go ahead and do it now. Go ahead. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this tip series. If you can, hit that like button, subscribe like I said, and I'll see you on the next video. So today's fishing tip is going to talk about what size line you need for fishing a jerkbait. There's not just one line size that I use every time I go throwing a jerkbait. I actually adjust my line size based off the depth of water I'm trying to reach. So in this situation, I have a KVD 200 size jerkbait on. It's a smaller size jerkbait. It's about 3 3/4 to 4 inches long, and it's a 2-hook version. So in this situation, and this is one that I actually fished with at Douglas, I was using 10-pound fluorocarbon. So the shad were a bit smaller, and I was trying to match the hatch with the shad. So I was going to a little bit smaller jerkbait, but I was throwing 10 because I needed the max amount of depth. Those fish were sitting in anywhere between 4 to 6 foot of water, and I needed that thing to get as close to those fish as I could. So I was using 10-pound test. So I'm going to give you a couple hypothetical situations where this might help you the next time you're on the water. So there's a lot of different jerkbaits out there, guys. I mean, here's a Vision 110 Mega Bass. Here's a Squad Minnow by Jackal. We have the Deep series. We have the Shallow series, 3-hook KVD series. Like I said, there's a ton of jerkbaits and a lot of really good ones out there. But when you decide what line you need, it can be kind of tricky. So if I'm using my live scope, live scope's been a hot topic as of late. If I'm using live scope, a lot of times I want depth out of my jerkbait. So we can actually manipulate depth 2 ways. So if I'm using a deep diving jerkbait, like this one right here, this is the 300 DD. So this is the 300, this is the deep diving KVD jerkbait. And this is just a color I just grabbed just for the sake of the video. This isn't one that I throw all the time as far as color wise. But as you can tell, it has the longer bill. Well, in certain situations, you would want to use like 10-pound test. You're going to get the max amount of depth with 10-pound test with this jerkbait. But what I like to do is actually upsize my line with this jerkbait to 15-pound test. So this is going to get you to about 6 to 7 foot depth range. But here's the deal, guys. This is one thing that I hope you learn from this video. When you're throwing a jerkbait and you're throwing 10-pound test, you are taking a chance of breaking your line. No questions asked. You could break your line, especially if you hook a really big bass. So what I like to do is manipulate my jerkbait with my line size. So I'll actually up it to 15, use the deep dive inversion. So this is actually going to dive the exact same depth as the regular KVD 300 that I would have to use 10-pound line to achieve that, by using 15 on the 300 DD, so I can actually get that additional depth range, but have bigger line. Because at the end of the day, guys, yes, lighter line is going to give your bait a little bit more erratic action, but when you start talking about a bait like the KVD 300 DD, or just the 300, or even a Mega Bass 110, you're actually using... the bait's already so erratic as it is. Every time you jerk that rod, the bait's going to dart in every single direction. So you're already getting that great action out of the bait. So going to 15-pound test isn't really going to hurt your action so much as it is your depth. So the bigger the line, the higher that jerkbait's going to be in the water. So if I'm using just a regular KVD 300 and I put it on 15-pound line, it's only going to dive 3 to 4 foot. 4 foot probably max. So I want that additional depth, but using the longer bill version. You can do the same thing with like a Mega Bass 110 plus 1. That absolutely works, no questions asked. So another trick that I like to do, especially around grass, so in situations like Rayburn, Gunnersville, Toledo Bend when it had grass, is I'll actually go to monofilament line. So this is just 15-pound Strike King Tour grade mono. You know, the cool thing about mono, it has a lot more stretch to it, but it also floats a lot easier. So if I'm in a situation where I'm on Rayburn, for instance, and there's about 2.5 to maybe 3 foot of cut, you know, from the top of the grass to the top of the water, so that much distance between the grass, I'll actually go to 15-pound mono and go to that size 300 jerkbait. So what this does is it keeps that jerkbait above the grass and still allows it to suspend and do its thing. And that is a big key when you're out there throwing a jerkbait around grass. Now, if you're throwing it down the edge, absolutely, throw fluorocarbon. You can throw 10, 15, whatever size fluorocarbon you like to throw. You can throw it around the edge. So if you're parallel casting the edge of the grass, absolutely, throw fluorocarbon. But if you're throwing it up in the grass, and that's what I mean, so if you're perpendicular, you're throwing it up in the grass, that's in the situation that I like to use mono. And it absolutely will make a huge difference. So we talked about mono, we talked about size of jerkbaits and how to manipulate the size. So basically, here's just a really easy step-down method for fishing a jerkbait. And this kind of goes across the board for the most part when it comes to certain jerkbaits. So in the case of a megabass, you know, the KVD 300, just the normal 3-hook version, the Squad Minnow, the Duo Realis 100, the Pointer 100, these are all different jerkbaits. If you, my mainstay line that I start with every time I go out there is 10-pound Strike King fluorocarbon. That's what I start with. So, and then as I look at the conditions, if I'm jerking around docks or bluff ends or whatever it may be, I'll actually adjust that line size based off how deep I want the bait to go. So if I'm throwing 10, I'm getting 5 to 7 foot out of my jerkbait. If I'm throwing 12, I'm getting about 5.5 to 6 foot. And the bigger the line, the shallower the bait will actually dive. So I hope that tip helps you the next time you're on the water. Like I said, this is a quick video series. Super easy tips, but definitely will help you the next time you're on the water. I hope you enjoyed this tip. If you did, drop a like on this video and maybe drop me a comment below and let me know your favorite jerkbait and what size line that you like to fish on it.